North Wales has been a favourite destination for us for many years, but there is one place where we always find inspiration. For the next few minutes we're going to share our impressions and delight about this beautiful place. The little hamlet of Ynys is situated on a bend of the Derwent estuary, looking west towards Cardigan Bay. Let's begin our visit in the village. The Welsh word Ynys means island. Ynys is on the margin of the estuary, just above tide level. Entering Ynys, you pass several attractive cottages and soon arrive at an unusual 3-storied house, cogwheel, built right on the edge of the salt marsh. This was once a warehouse for goods, which would have been carried along the nearby canal all the way to Harlech. The canal has long since fallen into disuse and little remains. The tide times, vital for people walking on the marshes, are posted outside Cogwheel every day. As you can imagine, the rise and fall of the tides has shaped the land and the livelihood of Ynys over the centuries. The village's church, St. Michael's, is set on a high rise, overlooking beautiful countryside and across to the Derwent estuary. It was probably founded in the mid-12th century and would then have stood on a rocky islet surrounded by marshes. It was not until the Middle Ages that the tides receded, leaving Ynys church well inland. A slender carved stone, erected in the same period, stands about 6 feet high and carries an inscription. It marks the grave of the mother of the man who built this ancient church. Leaving the church and returning to Cogwheel, we can follow the narrow road onto the salt marsh. Your first impression is of space and light. A wide vista opens before you. The Derwent weaves its way through the estuary in graceful curves. Above, clouds sweep across the majesty of the mountains, which are then suddenly washed with sunlight. Here, twice a day, the salt marshes are gently covered in water, reflecting the sky and the surrounding hills and mountains. When the tide retreats, wildfowl and sheep return to graze on the green land that has been revealed. Visit early in the morning and you are rewarded with golden light gradually paling into full daylight. As the sun gets higher, it glints on tide pools and wet grasses. The tide pools are miniature worlds. Goose footprints pattern the silty mud, and salt marsh plants such as glasswort and sea aster grow round their edges. Oyster shells are evidence of the flocks of oyster catchers that gather here. The estuary water is glossy and calm, reflecting the scene around it. Misty mornings also have great beauty, though you must get up early to experience them before the mist disperses. This is also the time to enjoy the many spiders' webs suspended on the grasses and gorse bushes. As the sun disperses the mists and warms the air, the marsh awakes. Anglers fish the deeper pools left by the tide. Others are abroad, taking their dogs along freshly revealed tracks across the marsh to enjoy splashing through shallow water. Some prefer a drier route along the raised pathway on the berm, heading towards Tŷ Gwyngamlas. Close by the berm is a large pool where a heron can often be seen, patiently searching the waters for prey. Sheep grazing on the salt marshes enjoy the lush grass and the warmth of the sun. As the waters retreat, sandbanks are revealed, making graceful curved patterns. Looking across the wide expanse of the Derwent estuary, we can see the Italianate village of Portmeirion, the creation of Clough Williams Ellis. Its brightly coloured houses and pinnacles are mirrored in the placid waters of the Derwent. But dominating our view, the distant Snowdon Range rises in all its beauty. It's impossible not to be transfixed by the subtle, ever-changing light that transforms the scene from moment to moment. Below, on the land that has been revealed by the retreating tide, flocks of Canada geese and oyster catchers congregate to feed. Pairs of swans glide sedately along the edges of the marsh. A sudden rivalry upsets the calm. On a curve of this sinuous estuary lies Ynys Giftan. That's Giftan Island in English. It's a small granite outcrop which can be reached on foot at low tide. Visitors must keep an eye on the tides though, so they can return safely. There are many routes across the salt marsh, and one of these leads, via a picturesque wooden footbridge, towards higher ground. There the track skirts the railway line. This is the Cambrian line, which makes its way from the Llŷn Peninsula, following the coast towards Aberystwyth. As the day draws to a close, the evening light touches the grasses. From sunset to twilight is a magical time here, especially when there is an incoming tide. As the land darkens, the sky takes on ever deeper shades of gold. All is quiet. Even the two canoeists slide their little boat silently into the water. An angler enjoys the peaceful solitude in this beautiful place. Gradually, the sea reclaims the land once more. The last light fades away, and finally, in darkness, all is tranquility.